Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Her house is overrun with cats.
Under the covers, in the bathtub, and under the bed.
I revolve my whole life around my cats.
Is her feline fixation
Come on, Dusty. Sid's down here.
Squishy.
Lucy.
JJ.
I think I got everybody.
ruining her marriage?
You can't go to dinner without her worrying about the cats.
I check in on them with the cameras.
Were you afraid they're going to watch the wrong channel or something? Let's do it.
Not a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Dottie, Dusty, Eddie, Irene, Lily, Lucy, and Mia. Those are just some of the names of Pamela's babies. These babies are messy, needy, and they keep her up all night. There's one little thing, though. These babies aren't humans, they're cats. 15 cats. Pamela admits she is a self-confessed cat collector, known to her friends as the Crazy Cat Lady. Now, she says all she thinks about is her cats, their happiness, and their health. Now, Pamela's husband, Mitch, says her feline fixation is destroying their marriage. Take a look.
Pam's life does revolve around being at home with the cats.
I have 15 cats.
They're squishy.
I call myself a cat hoarder, but I want to be called a cat collector now.
She has an unhealthy attachment to the cats.
Mitch gets annoyed with me when I pay too much attention to the cats.
It always worries me when they don't eat.
Pam will open up numerous cans of cat food. If a specific cat doesn't like the food, we'll open up a second can, a third can,
All right, Lucy, hang on.
until she finds one that the cat likes.
I just always want to make sure they eat.
I feel Pam overfeeds the cats. I try to discourage her from doing that, but I can't win that battle. Pam will get upset with me if I don't feed the cats the way she wants it done. Pam is always worried about losing them. She has this phobia that, where are they?
Where are you guys?
I immediately start hunting the whole house. I haven't seen her in a while.
How long has it been since you've seen her?
If she asks me, have I seen Sid in the last 15 minutes, and I'll be like, I'm not gonna go look for him. She'll say, why can't you just go look for him for me?
My cats are in my bedroom, on my bed, on their cat tree. They sleep on the back of my couch, in the bathtub. The cats do overtake the marriage. They require a lot of care, giving medicine, cleaning up after them. Mitch and I try to go out every weekend if the cats aren't sick, but I constantly check in on them with the cameras. This is the camera I have to check on the cats. I'll stay an hour or two and then want to come home. And Mitch is not really happy with that.
I get disappointed. It's upsetting.
My greatest fear is to lose Mitch and to lose my cats. I don't want to be obsessed with these cats. In my mind, they're my babies, and I can't move past that. That's my life.
Okay, 15 cats.
Yeah.
And you've had 21 cats before.
Yes.
We've talked to you a lot about this, and you've made some statements about the cats that I thought were significant. Oh, and by the way, just so you know, I'm a cat man.
Oh, good.
I've loved cats all my life, which is kind of strange. I think people think of a big guy, you think he's not a cat man, but you catch me with a kitten, I can kill a whole day with, just playing with a cat. But I always look to see whether something makes sense or if it's gotten out of proportion, if it's intrusive to people's lives. One of the things you said is, I would rather have breast cancer again than lose another cat. Because you had breast cancer, right?
It was easier for me to do that than to face losing a cat, yes.
If you heard someone say, I would rather have cancer again than lose a pet, does that sound rational to you?
No, it doesn't. It sounds crazy.
Okay, so you recognize that's out of balance,
Yeah.
that's not in the interest of your health and well-being.
Yes.
To me, from an outside perspective, there is no justification for saying that. And I'm a cat man. I love
Yeah.
cats and I love dogs. But for you to say that makes me wonder about your self-worth.
Dr. Phil, she handled the news of that she had cancer better than she could handle the news of one of our cats being ill. And not to minimize one of our pets being ill.
But it's cat.
Well, I mean...
And this is a human being with life-threatening disease. Mm-hmm. You said, sometimes I wake up, think something's wrong with me. If I feel good, I start feeling guilty. I start worrying about the cats.
I do.
She struggles to enjoy herself.
Mm-hmm.
So you think something's wrong with you if you feel good?
Yeah, I
You
think
feel guilty about feeling good?
sometimes. Mm-hmm.
Because something might be wrong with one of the cats.
Yes.
And if you go through all the cats and you check all 15 of them and they're all feeling good, then you say, okay, now I can feel good.
Yes.
For a little while.
For a little while.
Out of 15 cats, is there ever a time when all 15 cats are feeling okay?
I get lucky sometimes.
Really? All
Yeah.
15 cats?
All 15
You
cats.
check on them and they give you
Yes.
the claws up?
They do. Tail up.
You said, I have 15 cats and this is honestly destroying my marriage. You said, I'm homebound, I want a life. Mm-hmm. Do you really, or do you think I have a life and my life is my cats?
I think I revolve my whole life around my cats.
And you're okay with that?
To a point. I don't want to worry about them as much as I do. There's no need to, and I know that, but I can't help myself.
You say you guys can't go to dinner, right? Without her worrying about the cats.
But she'll worry. We'll worry. If we're out, after a certain amount of time, she'll just start to worry. We need to get home. We need to feed the cats.
She has a camera. She checks the camera on her phone.
Yes.
Yeah, she'll
see
check
what
to
the
look
cats
at
are
them. What are
doing.
they doing? You know, they're on the bed sleeping.
What do cats do?
They're having a grand old time. They're not worried. They're fine. But she's worried after a while, and I want to just relax. We're out. We're having a good time.
What do you mean? Were you afraid they're going to watch the wrong channel or something? What do you?
I'm afraid. I don't know what I'm looking for. I just do a head count, I guess.
Don't cats go find a place
And
that's
sleep.
private and
Yes.
has boundaries and is out of the way
Yeah.
where they can sleep and not be bothered
Yeah.
by you?
She'll send me on a head count when we're home.
Yes. And if I don't see them, I'll go dig them up. I'll find them and I'll put them in my view.
Yeah, which I'm sure is very irritating to a cat.
It is.
That's
they
found
let her-
somewhere that they can be alone and asleep, and then here comes you
Mommy.
dragging them out from under the beds.
Oh, they get mad.
So it's not really about them, it's about you.
It's about me.
Well, isn't that interesting?
She wants the cat to be happy.
So
but on
you're
her
really
terms.
not so philanthropic about cats.
No.
You're really not so altruistic
No.
about the cats. You really use the cats to make yourself feel better.
No, not really.
Well, no, wait a minute. You just said I
I
will take
know.
a sleeping cat that is curled up at peace under the bed. I will drag his ass out from under the bed.
And I do.
Claws, like,
Yes. Yes.
get him out so I can hold on to him.
Yes.
Make me happy, him not happy.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, coming up.
Yes.
From sleeping with 5 cats to setting up lasers in their bedroom for feral cats to play with in the middle of the night, Mitch says his wife Pamela has no boundaries when it comes to her cats. We'll talk more about it after the break.
My day starts around 6 o'clock in the morning. That's when I start the feedings. There you go. Oh no, she doesn't like that one. This happens about 3 or 4 times a night, starting at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's not fun getting woken up in the middle of the night to that.
You don't have to get so sarcastic about it.
And later, does anybody else here have 20 cats? I think this obsession with cats is not based on love of cats. Well, From 2 hours of feeding rituals and urgent searches for missing animals to worrying about the cats nonstop, Mitch says he sometimes feels like Pamela has no time for him anymore. Here's a day in their married life.
This is Squishy. That's Lucy. This is Rocky right here. There's Sid. This is JJ. My day starts around 6 o'clock in the morning. That's when I start the feedings. There's 14 bowls. Now this is when it gets tough because I gotta find the cats now. Come on, Dusty. Here, Jay. There, Rocky. Sid's down here in his little hole. I think I got everybody. The second feeding I do is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There you go, Rock. JJ. I'm all over the place feeding. Every time I go to the store, I buy 20, 30 cans of cat food. Got her?
I got it. She's fighting pretty good.
Okay. My cat JJ had an infection, and that was $200.
Ow. Wow. She's gonna choke.
She has to have it to get over her infection. She swallowed it.
You both?
Yeah. I just started a third feeding. I do that right before we go to bed because the second we walk up the stairs, they all start coming in the kitchen and wanting to eat again. Romo, he's the biggest fan of the treats. We have a cat, Romo, that only drinks from the running faucet in the bathtub. This happens about 3 or 4 times a night, starting at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll get up and I'll turn the water on for him.
It's not fun getting woken up in the middle of the night to that.
All you want to do is scare him away.
But I feel like he'll drink from here. He could drink
He
from
doesn't.
there.
You don't have to get so sarcastic about it.
I have no activities in my life but my cats.
You get up at 3, 4 in the morning to turn the faucet on for Romo to get a drink in the bathtub?
Yes.
Because that's the only thing Romo likes to do?
He won't shut up until I get up and turn the water on for him to drink.
Yeah, he will.
This just started. Yeah.
I mean, tell you, if a cat gets thirsty, it'll drink. I mean, if you don't
Not
turn the
him.
faucet on, trust me.
He enjoys the water running.
Oh, I'm sure he does. You don't enjoy waking up at 3, 4 o'clock in the mornings for her to go water the cat.
And then she'll get mad at me if I'm like, you do it because this is your monster now, and she'll make me go do it. I'm like, well, if we don't do it, he'll stop meowing eventually, and I'll go get water from somewhere else, just like you said, but she can't seem to get past that.
You could put him where there isn't a bathtub.
I have, and he runs back to the bathtub.
Oh, he knows how to work doorknob?
Oh, no, I can't lock him out of the room.
Oh, of course not.
Because he'll sit there and cry.
Yeah. So, Mitch, when you put your foot down in the past, what happens? Because you, at times, I mean, I heard her little edge to her voice there when you said, you don't have to be so sarcastic. What happens when you put your foot down?
It usually doesn't stay down too long.
Are you enabling her?
I might be, yeah.
You might be. How many cats do you have?
15. I am enabling her.
Yeah. Okay. Didn't take very long to get there.
So it's, I mean, that's also
Really,
part
you
of
have 15 cats, and that's not normal. And listen, you know I'm a big animal advocate, so on the one hand, it's a wonderful thing that you're doing in caring for these animals, but there has to be a balance in this. And if it's to the point that it's disrupting your own life, it's disrupting your own marriage, then you're not going at it in a productive and healthy way, right?
Right.
And it is disrupting your marriage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you can't go to dinner without getting on your phone and pulling up a camera app to do a head count of your cats inside the house, well, how does that house smell, by the way?
We have people come over that don't even know we have one cat. It's because
You have people that come over and lie to you.
No. No.
That's
the honest to God truth.
No, what I said's the honest to God truth. You have people that come over and lie to you. You had 3 boys, right?
Yes.
Did they not tell you they went to school embarrassed because they smelled like cat pee?
That was my first round of cats.
Well, here's a statement from your youngest son, who's now 33.
Yeah.
He said, I do believe my mom loves and prefers her cats over humans. She has a lot of grandchildren who would love to have her in their lives. She visits once or twice a year. The cats prevent her from coming more. Growing up with 20 cats, the house smelled of cat pee, and I smelled of it at school, and I got made fun of because of it. My mom was just known as the crazy cat lady.
It was. They should have shut their doors.
I'm so glad you said that. Because it's going to make what I'm going to say a lot easier to say. Okay. Coming up, Pamela's best friend, Janine, says she is one of the very few people brave enough to visit Pamela and Mitch at their house. So I'm going to ask her if she can walk in and tell that they even have one cat. We'll be right back.
Pamela's a big mess. All they do is clean. She'd be picking up 15 cat bowls. She'd be dumping it in here. Pamela is very worried about losing her husband, Mitch. I don't want to see them break up. I don't want to see her lose him, but the cats are a problem.
And later, you hold back from Mitch. And as long as you don't completely commit, it won't hurt quite as bad when he leaves, because you know he will. Well, Pamela's best friend Janine says Pamela's cat-obsessed lifestyle is getting ridiculous. Janine says she's worried that Pamela will have a nervous breakdown and lose her husband if something drastic doesn't happen soon. Take a look.
Pam and Mitch are very miserable. Pamela has an addiction.
He won't eat wet.
Pamela's a big mess.
He wanted pate.
Pamela and Mitch, all they do is clean, to the point where it makes you feel uncomfortable. And that might be one reason why a lot of people don't go visit. She'd be picking up 15 cat bowls. She'd be dumping it in here, rinsing all the cans out. She'd go, just a minute, I'm just gotta get this cleaned up a minute, Janine. It's like this the whole time. When Pamela loses her cat, Pamela will not take my phone calls. Everything in life is second. Cats are always first.
My baby.
Coming to see me in California just doesn't happen. I get really upset with Pamela, and I want to say a lot of things, but I don't want to hurt her feelings. They have no freedom to enjoy each other and go out because it all revolves about getting home to the cats. Pamela is very worried about losing her husband, Mitch. I don't want to see them break up. I don't want to see her lose him. Pamela and Mitch are very in love, but the cats are a problem. Mitch can't handle it much more.
Well, Janine, so what's it like when you visit the house?
Exactly what you saw.
Can you tell they have cats?
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Have you been with her away from the cats? Does she start to get nervous, as Mitch says?
It's really bad. We go out to dinner, we go out shopping. She's having Mitch check about how the cats are doing, where is so-and-so cat, and she's on, like you say, checking her cats on her monitor for constantly. When she comes to California, it's all about the cat. She worries. She can't enjoy herself. She can't relax.
Mm-hmm. Well, you say there are rules to survive in the house. Janine says that you don't leave a bedroom door open, right?
No, not mine. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and that you don't leave a purse or shoes on the ground or they'll get peed on.
Right.
Are you curious at all about why you're this? If you agree that this is not a normal, does anybody else here have 20 cats? 15, 20 cats? 15 cats? 10 cats? Okay, so it's atypical, right? Mm-hmm. Are you curious why you're this way?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think I have a problem.
But you don't know where it came from.
Well, I think it came from when I was younger. I was always been a very big animal lover, and
right.
My mother would get us an animal, and I immediately fell in love with the animal. And one day, we would come home from school and the animal would be gone. I came home once and somebody was knocking on the door and I answered and he goes, "I'm here for the dog." And I go, "What dog?" And he explained the dog and I go, "You're not getting my dog." And I slammed the door in his face. And so my mother came in and she goes, "You guys, we were young. You get a kid an animal and they don't always take care of it. It's always sometimes left to the parents." And she got sick of it.
And then didn't you have pets that died in a car because they got closed up in the car with the window closed? And didn't the pet die in the car?
Yes.
It just died from heat?
Heat. My mother forgot it in the car.
Well, here's a statement from Pamela's mother, Leslie. She said, "The dog was a little poodle. I worked nights and didn't have much time to get it house trained. I put an ad in the paper. It went to a good home. Regarding the dogs that were left in the hot car, the kids missed the school bus. The kids and the dogs ran into the car, and when I got back home, I went into the house. About 30 minutes later, I thought, I left the dogs in the car. When I got there, one had survived and one had passed. Haunts me to this day."
Me too.
I've looked at what's gone on in your life. I think I know why you're where you are. I think you do love pets, but I think this obsession with cats is not based on love of cats. I think it's based on something else, and I'm going to tell you what it is after the break. Closed captioning provided by...
I just recently lost a feral kitty. Prince was a big black and white cat. He was beautiful. I found him passed away on our cat tree, and it was a shocker. When one of our cats passes, we have him cremated.
His box is right here, and for a couple of days, Pam didn't even want to come through the garage. As they pass, I'll continue to get them cremated, and we'll keep them all.
When I lose a cat, it hurts. It feels like a little part of me has died with that cat.
Pamela admits that her anxiety over her cat's well-being comes at the expense of everything and everyone else. And you feel like you're kind of not at the top of the pecking order, right?
Yes and no. I mean, I know she loves me dearly.
Of course.
But just the cats seem to get in the way of us being able to just completely enjoy ourselves, and there shouldn't always be something hanging over her that, oh, we got to run home to the cats. And Dr. Phil, it's upsetting because I want to be able to help my wife, and I don't know how to do it. I don't have those tools, which obviously is why we're here with you.
But you understand that it is abnormal, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, I always look at this normal, abnormal sort of thing based on the way it plays out in somebody's life. If you're doing something that's normal, what I call normal, to me, it doesn't mean that it's like everybody else. I consider it normal if it doesn't disrupt your life. And you would have to agree that this involvement with your cats does interfere with healthy functioning. You can't go to dinner, you can't go visit your grandkids, you can't live without fear and anxiety about what's going to happen with the cat. So that's interfering with healthy functioning, which that alone makes it abnormal.
Yes.
And you say you're a cat collector. Literature would regard to it as a cat hoarder. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about a hoarding disorder, we're talking about persistent difficulty discarding or parting with possessions due to a perceived need to save and or the distress of discarding an item. And in this case, it's cats, not items. And there are commonalities among people that do what you're doing, and a trauma in childhood is almost always there. Mm-hmm. So it becomes very anxiety producing to think about being separated from an animal, because at a time when you didn't have the ability to fight back, at a time when you didn't have the ability to have a voice and assert yourself and say, no, you're not going to take this love object away from me, this animal that I've bonded with away from me, you were helpless. And now you're not helpless to do it, so you keep replicating, hanging on to these animals. It's like, you know, this is my revenge.
Yes.
And it's an anxiety disorder, and it is an attachment disorder.
Yes.
And one thing that's for sure that is a common element is when people get this involved with animals, they're relating down. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. An animal doesn't require what a human interaction requires.
Right.
You don't have to carry on a conversation.
Right.
You don't have to get dressed up and go out to dinner. You don't have to maintain any kind of equality in the relationship. The demands aren't there. So it's safe. And you feel safe with these animals, right?
I do.
And you feel loved by these animals, right?
Yes.
But you're having separation anxiety to a real dysfunctional level, which tells me you have an attachment disorder. And you're relating down because you feel inadequate to relate at a completely adult level because your self-esteem has been destroyed.
Yes.
So that's what has to be dealt with here. So is there any way to relieve this? Is there a way to lessen the anxiety? Is there a way for her to have a healthy relationship with animals? I'm going to give her my thoughts about how to do that, if it's doable, after the break. Closed captioning provided by We're talking about cats under the covers, in the closet, in the bathtub, and under the bed. Now, a life filled with 15 felines is not conducive to a healthy marriage. It's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. Mitch wants to help his wife, Pamela, get over her all-consuming anxiety, but he really doesn't know how to help her. He was just telling me at the break, he says, I even have trouble complimenting her. She has a difficult time hearing this, like you'll tell her something nice, and she's like, what? Why are you telling me that? Your self-worth, your self-esteem is not good.
No.
True? What do you say to yourself?
I'm mean to myself. I just look in the mirror and think, oh God. I was torn down a lot.
But the cats don't say that, do they?
They love me for, I could be in my pajamas, no makeup, nothing. They don't care.
Exactly what I was saying. That's what I mean about relating down.
Right.
And while he may not want to hear it, you hold back from Mitch, don't you?
Probably. Yes.
You've never really completely 100% surrendered and given your love and affection and commitment and let yourself, because you can't figure out why he's with you.
Right.
And as long as you don't completely commit, it won't hurt quite as bad when he leaves, because you know he will. But at least you'll have your cats.
They won't leave me.
That's not okay with me.
It's not okay.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. It's terrible. She's so much better than that, Dr. Phil. She's a great person. I wish she could see that. I guess she doesn't believe me when I tell her that. I mean, I wouldn't be married to her. I love her dearly. I mean,
Of course she doesn't believe that, and she doesn't believe that you're transient. She believes that you'll put up with this for so long, and then you will leave, and the reason will be because she wasn't good enough to hold you, and the cats, and that she's just that, she's who she is, and that you wouldn't put up with it, and she won't blame you.
we've been together for 17 years. I'm still here.
But
Why
it's a
don't you-
test every single day.
It is.
So you're paralyzed by anxiety, and you're hiding behind these cats to keep from dealing with it. So my question to you is, do you want to deal with it, or do you want to continue to hide behind these cats?
I want to change. I want to
I
go
mean,
up
do
in the
you
right.
really?
I do. But I don't want to lose my cats also.
Well, but here's the thing. You can't have both. As you strengthen yourself, you're going to recognize that you can, and it is a healthy thing to do, to adopt these cats out to a home where they can be an only child. And you're not ready to do that right now. But I'm asking you, are you prepared to work on what I think is going to be an adjustment disorder and an anxiety paralysis that will allow you to start building your self-esteem and recognize you got a loving husband, you guys can go on trips, you can have weekends together, you can go run and play and realize there's a whole world out there that doesn't have a tail. Are you willing to do that?
I am willing.
Because if you are, I am willing to set you up with a specific type of counselor that will specialize in attachment disorder and anxiety disorders that can work with you, sensitive to your situation, but with the goal of getting you back into your life. And I will arrange that for you straight away if you're willing to commit to it.
I am willing to commit to it.
That's amazing.
And I mean, I will start this like right away. I don't mean like after Christmas. I mean, I'll start this right away.
And I will go right away.
All right.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you. Thank you.
Coming up, if you're pregnant or know somebody who's pregnant, vital information every mother should know to protect her baby. Next. Closed captioning provided by... Well, it's time to answer your questions with my good friend, Dr. Frida Lewis Hall. She's the Chief Medical Officer at Pfizer, and we're here to ask the doctor. So thanks for being here again.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
So let's jump right in, okay? Our first question is from LaRon. LaRon is pregnant and due next month. Now, she's curious about whooping cough, the vaccine. For whooping cough. So what is your question?
My question is, when I learned I was pregnant, my obstetrician gave me the whooping cough vaccine. I've heard that anyone who's going to be near the baby should get one too. How important is that, and why is whooping cough dangerous for babies?
So whooping cough is a very contagious respiratory illness that's characterized by this rapid cough with a high-pitched whoop sound that goes along with it, along with vomiting and exhaustion. Now, babies are at the highest risk for this, and they can develop serious complications and can even die from it.
From whooping cough?
From whooping cough. Before the whooping cough vaccine was widely available back in the 1940s, there were about 200,000 cases of children in the United States each year.
Wow.
Now, post-vaccine, we see between 10 and 40,000 cases reported in any given year. Children under the age of 2 are at the highest risk.
Okay.
The CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, have a recommended immunization schedule for babies and children that helps to protect against 14 diseases. Whooping cough is included in that. And the DTaP is one of those vaccines. It's a combination vaccine that helps to protect against whooping cough, or pertussis, that's the P, diphtheria, and tetanus.
Well, so who else should be getting vaccinated for this whooping cough?
Many babies that are infected with whooping cough actually get it from their siblings, from parents, from grandparents, or caregivers who may not even know that they have the disease. Now, the DTaP vaccine's effectiveness fades over time. And that's why it's important for anyone that's going to be interacting with babies to get a booster to help protect the babies and themselves. The booster for whooping cough is Tdap, and it's especially important for, like LeBron did, for pregnant women to get their boosters to protect themselves and their babies.
Well, so what other steps can LaRon take to protect her baby?
So LaRon took a very important first step, and that is for pregnant women to pay attention and to be sure that they're vaccinated to protect themselves and their babies. But also this protects other people who may be vulnerable around you, like the elderly, and it protects them from serious illnesses. There's so much to know in this. You can go on cdc.gov to find out information about vaccinations for people of all ages. And you can go on gethealthystayhealthy.com for health information for your new baby.
Thank you so much for your question. All right, our next question is on video from Cliff.
I have type 2 diabetes and I don't necessarily want everyone to know. How do I handle social situations where there's food involved? Especially since I can't eat things like pasta, cheesecake, stuff like that with all the carbs.
You know, Cliff, you're not alone on this one. I have to tell you, I am a type 2 diabetic myself. I think there's a stigma attached to type 2 diabetes, and I don't think you should hide it. So what's your advice to him?
Over half of people who have diabetes, type 1 and type 2, say that they experience a stigma as they're trying to manage this very difficult disease. People who are managing diabetes say that they're confronted and stigmatized about what they eat, about how much they exercise, about how they look. And this can actually lead to depression, embarrassment, low self-esteem, loneliness, and anger.
So what would you suggest, Cliff, or anyone else in this situation do?
I want to go back to some of the things that Cliff and others have said that they do to try and hide. So this can include things like skipping medications or not taking them regularly, not monitoring your blood glucose regularly. Many people with diabetes say that they just don't go to social situations because it's so difficult to manage. And last but not least, many say that they don't want to inject their insulin unless it's in a public toilet or at home. And these are all things that can complicate the management of their diabetes and can be very dangerous. So we said that Cliff wasn't alone, and he is really not alone. There are more than 100 million adults in the U.S. who are living with diabetes and prediabetes. There are online communities and support groups that are available through the American Diabetes Association that can help talk about how they are managing this, so you can get tips and ideas on that. There are so many things that you could do just in every day. For example, if you're hosting a dinner party, have diabetes-friendly foods around. If you don't know where those are or what those recipes are, they're recipes that are available online. And also, be sensitive about the things you say to people who are managing this tough condition. For example, don't say, should you be eating that? Or go ahead, have a little bit of that, it won't hurt you. Or to say, well, you know, if you ate better and exercised, you wouldn't be managing this disease. These are all things that are based on misinformation, and so it's important to be educated about diabetes.
Now, whether you're looking for information on diabetes, the importance of vaccinations, or any other health-related issue, I strongly suggest you go to one of Robin and my favorite websites. It's gethealthystayhealthy.com. We love that site. It's got all kinds of information. And while you're there, they're going to find out they can do what?
They can sign up for our monthly newsletter.
You bet. And it's a great newsletter. If you have a story of life situation that you need my help, I'd love to hear from you. Just email me at drphil.com and just tell me all about it. Or if you'd like to be a part of our studio audience, the tickets are free. Just go to my website and click on Get Tickets, or you can call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445. I want to thank all of my guests today, especially Dr. Frida Lewis Hall. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.